Dude, how am I supposed to record if you don't hit the record button?
I literally pressed the button.
Oh, you did?
Just do the freaking intro.
Welcome to The Witch Show, where smart meets stupid and somehow makes sense. I'm Georgie, and I'm thinking out loud, so you don't have
Ladies
to.
and gentlemen, this is The Witch Show, from what I think seriously to you.
WITS, The Witch Show.
Cool story, bro.
Hey guys, it's Georgie, your overthinker in chief, and today we're diving deep into something no one asked for, but you're getting it anyway. I'm here to overanalyze everyday nonsense. If it happens in the real world or my brain, it's fair game. No guests, no filters, just me, some thoughts, and a dangerously strong cup of whatever I'm drinking. So, going into it, I'm done pretending. Antarctica is bullshit.
Here we go again. What is it this time? Another TikTok conspiracy or like a fever dream?
Okay, first off, talking to the microphone.
Whoa, with all the hostility.
Dude, I'm not even being hostile.
You're being hostile.
You're not even
right
freaking
now.
talking in the
Just calm
microphone.
down. Okay, fine. Is this better? Does this make you happier?
Yeah, dude, it
God,
makes me a lot
just
happier.
Get on with it.
Oh my god, okay, fine. I looked it up on Google Maps, and the map just stops. Just like white nothing. I zoomed in, and it was like the government said, yeah, we're not rendering that part of the Earth. Like, what's there?
It's literally an ice wall. Like, what did you
An
expect?
ice
A
wall.
cheesecake
You seriously
factory?
think that's what you think that is?
Yeah,
is an
dude,
ice
a
wall.
freaking ice wall. That's like the only thing that makes any sense.
Not even close. Okay, what? You think there should be like a Starbucks?
Dude,
like
a
anything.
Starbucks?
A Starbucks or anything. It doesn't matter. Like, there's nothing there. It's just blank. They photoshopped Earth and forgot
Yeah,
to
well,
finish the
maybe
dang
because
layer
it's
or something.
uninhabitable
You know what I mean?
and freezing over there. Did you ever think about that one?
Uninhabitable and freezing. Yeah, that's the cover story. But think about it. You can go to freaking space, or if you're rich enough, but you go to Antarctica, suddenly you
Okay.
need permits and escorts and a freaking priest to bless your backpack.
Right. Okay, but maybe they're just protecting like the penguins or
The
something.
freaking penguins. That's what you think the theory is. They're
Okay,
protecting
calm
penguins.
Down. Yeah, calm down, Alex Jones.
Okay, I'm Alex Jones now because I have a really good theory.
No,
You're just
because-
mad that you didn't think of it first.
I'm not, what? No, that's ridiculous. It sounds stupid.
doesn't
Like
even
what?
sound
What are we
stupid.
supposed to find there? Hollow Earth
Maybe,
or
I
Nazi
don't know.
UFOs or Elon's second brain?
How do you know
Come
it's
on,
not
man.
there?
It sounds ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. Think about it, man. Why is there like no fly zones over there in specific parts of it? And the world governments suddenly they're besties. All of
Yeah,
them when it
well, I
comes
mean-
to like a continent that no one lives
So
on.
maybe they want people falling in like the crevices or something.
Crevices? Are you kidding me? That okay? Now you sound ridiculous. The
I
crevices.
sound ridiculous. You literally sound ridiculous.
you sound
right now.
ridiculous
You're
right
coming
now.
at me with some bull crap. Like, what do you think? It's like flat Earth or something?
Okay, well maybe I don't know. How do you know it's not?
I don't. I mean, I guess I've never really
Yeah,
seen
exactly.
it. But I swear
Exactly.
to God, you're like one Google search away from getting put on a list.
Oh my god, you're so close.
I'm closed-minded. You need therapy.
Therapy? I don't need therapy. No, I tried therapy, and she told me to stop googling secret entrances to Antarctica. So I fired her. I don't know. She's probably
Yeah, she's probably definitely in on it. It sounds like it.
Anyway, if I go missing, just know it wasn't depression. It was Gerald, the penguin. He thinks I know too much. Alright, all kidding aside though, let's do a quick overview of what we're told about Antarctica. It's the coldest, driest place on Earth, no native human population, and it's covered in ice. It's got scientific basis only, and the Antarctic Treaty, signed by over 50 countries, no drilling, no military, no ownership. So basically what you're telling me is this the only place on Earth where every country magically gets along and nobody wants to build a Starbucks.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Look, I don't know what's down there, but I do know this. When every world power agrees to keep the place off limits, that shit smells fishier than my cheating ex-wife after I got home from the oil field. But let's talk about the spearhead of this entire theory, right? You ever heard of Admiral Richard E. Byrd? If you haven't, well, I'll tell you a little about him. Right. Okay. So he led the Operation High Jump, right? A massive U.S. military expedition in Antarctica. But the kicker is that later, in a controversial interview, he allegedly spoke of flying beyond the pole, right? And so he discovered lush green lands and mountains and large animals. And if you ask other conspiracy theorists, well, he claims that he encountered an interest to hollow Earth. And he was warned by advanced beings to stop nuclear testing. We're talking about a guy who was a U.S. Navy officer, an aviator, and an explorer. The dude was known for being the pioneer polar explorer, especially of Antarctica. He was also the first person to fly over the North Pole and the South Pole. We're talking about a guy in the 1920s to the 1950s who had massive resources and government backing, making claims like this. Anyway, back in 1946, this dude led Operation High Jump, right? And it was this massive U.S. military operation with like 13 ships and 4,700 men, aircraft carriers, submarines, and helicopters. Officially, it was to train personnel and test military equipment in extreme cold. However, if you ask a conspiracy theorist, they'll tell you that some believe it was a mission too. Maybe to confront Nazi remnants, or explore and seal off Hollow Earth entrance, maybe investigate UFO activity. And I'd agree with you, it sounds a little batshit crazy if you ask me, but when you start looking into the Flight Beyond the Pole, which was the mission he took on in 1947, well, that's where it gets a little weird. Because in his alleged secret diary, he claims, and this is a direct quote, "We have flown over lush green valley. There's animal life below. I see mammoth." It then goes on to say that he was allegedly contacted by an advanced race who lived inside the Earth, and they warned humanity to stop using nuclear weapons or face destruction. And that's specifically why this diary is the source of tons of Hollow Earth theory. And what really helps solidify this is Operation Deep Freeze. It basically set the stage for the Antarctic Treaty in 1959, another favorite talking point amongst theorists who think that the world would agree to hide something. Whether you believe the theories or not, you gotta remember though that Byrd was once quoted for saying, "The greatest threats come not from the Russians, but from the flying objects from the polar region." This quote is often cited as evidence for UFOs or unknown evidence and tech hiding in Antarctica. Any way you want to look at it though, you gotta remember that this is the only global agreement that has never been broken. Still to this day. We're talking with countries who have broken every single treaty ever written ever. And nobody's breaking the treaties currently. We're still keeping this one intact. For what reason? What's in there? What's beyond the wall, if there is a wall? Or maybe it is just the entrance to Hollow Earth. Here's a story for you, right? Have you heard of the legend of the Green Children of Woolpit? All right, so this one dates back to the 12th century. The place was Woolpit, Suffolk, England, right? It's a small village with a name that literally means wolf pit. The story goes like this, right? So during the reign of King Stephen, that was like 1135 and to 1154 or something like that. Anyway, the villagers in Woolpit discovered two children, a boy and a girl, with green tinted skin near one of the village's wolf pits. Supposedly, they were wearing unfamiliar clothing, like strange stuff, and spoke a weird language that no one recognized, and it seemed that they were completely disoriented. The thing is, too, is that they refused all food except for, like, raw beans at first. Eventually, they began speaking and eating normally, and their green color faded, but the boy did die shortly after. The girl survived and learned English and integrated into society. So, I guess once she could speak English, the girl claimed that she came from a place called St. Martin's Land, and it was perpetually twilight, with no sun. Everyone there had green skin. They had been herding cattle when they heard a loud noise, possibly bells. So they follow these noises or whatever, and suddenly they found themselves in the wolf pit, under strange skies, as she put it. Some people believe that St. Martin's Land was part of the subterranean world, and the consistence of twilight equaled the inner Earth's soft ambient light. Conspiracists think that their green skin was a result of different atmospheric conditions, like chlorophyll-based biology. You know, like plants convert light. Maybe they did too. Others believe that the kids were extraterrestrial, though. Maybe they were from a parallel world or even another planet. And they think that they accidentally teleported or crash-landed near Woolpit via wormhole or Stargate. And their diets and speech and appearances really supported the idea. But this isn't the first time we've heard of, things that suggest there's a hollow Earth. Ancient Greeks, like Hades, the Greek underworld wasn't hell, it was a separate, vast realm beneath Earth, with rivers, cities, and gates that were guarded by Cerberus. Native American myths, like the Hopi. The Hopi people believed that their ancestors emerged from the underground and the previous world destroyed by, fire and flood. In the Hindu texts, Hindu cosmology includes the 7 underground realms, one of which is Patala, ruled by the serpent being Nagas, and filled with riches, advanced knowledge, and light. But Patala is not considered hell, it's just beneath us. And then you got North mythology. One of the 9 realms beneath Midgard, which was Earth, was home to dark elves, dwarves who lived underground, forging magical weapons and tech. Of course, this is mythology, but, let's get into Edmund Halley, right? From Halley's Comet of 1692. Yes, a legit scientist. Halley proposed that Earth was made up of centric hollow spheres, like Russian nesting dolls or something. He even said that each layer had its own atmosphere and possibly supported life. He thought that the auroras, the northern lights, came from light escaping through the polar openings. But the crazy part is that his theory was actually published in the Royal Society of London, not some freaking fringe sign. And then you got John Cleves Sims Jr., right, from 1818, the Simmons Holes. He's a former U.S. Army officer who became obsessed with hollow Earth. He claimed that there were giant openings at the bottom poles known as the Simmons Holes. This guy was literally so obsessed that he lobbied Congress and the president to fund an expedition to Antarctica to prove it. Once again, back to Antarctica. However, this guy was mocked a lot, and his ideas sparked serious public interest. But it did inspire the fiction novel Journey to the Center of the Earth. It's a great book, probably an even better movie in my opinion. I don't know, I like the cinematics, kind of things like that. But either way you look at it, these are people who have tremendous standing in the public view. People like Admiral Richard E. Byrd, talking about how he claimed to have encountered the advanced inner Earth civilization and allegedly flying into the polar opening during the Operation High Jump. It gets even deeper than that, though. Even the Nazis were interested in Hollow Earth. The Nazis were obsessed with the occult and pseudoscientific theories, such as this one. They even explored Antarctica, New Swabia specifically, and they believed in something called Vril energy. And apparently this was a power source linked to inner Earth race. Some even claim that they believed that the Aryan race came from inside the Earth, and they built bases in Antarctica to reconnect with their origins. But, of course, that's hearsay. But moreover, there's the Smoky God in 1908 alleged first-hand accounts. Written by Willis George Emerson, or whatever his name is. It's presented as one of the memoirs of Olaf Jensen, a Norwegian sailor. Olaf and his father supposedly sailed through a polar opening and spent 2 years inside of a hollow Earth. I guess inside they found giants that were like 12 feet tall, advanced cities powered by magnetism, a central smoky inner sun. But the people inside spoke a language similar to Sanskrit and were highly spiritual. But what's the point of all of this? Like, really, why would the governments keep this from public knowledge? Well, I mean, it's kind of obvious, right? One good reason would be loss of global control and power structures. I mean, think about it. If it were proven that there's other civilizations and inhabitable regions inside the Earth, the current geopolitical system would explode. Borders would be irrelevant, superpowers would be undermined, governments no longer the highest authority, religion, history, and science, all questioned at once. So yeah, why hide it? Well, because the entire world order depends on keeping people believing that this is all there is. You'd have collapse of religion, economics, and sovereignty. It would literally be total chaos. Imagine a hidden world filled with unclaimed land, pure energy sources, untapped material, or even exotic tech. The public would demand access. But the elite? They would want it first. They'd want it so that they can control it and exploit new resources before the public ever knew they existed. Think oil, gold, uranium, or even new forms of energy like Vril or magnetic tech. Big government wants to capitalize on this kind of stuff. So, whether it exists or not, I mean, let's be honest. If it did exist, we knew about it, they're taking as much as they can. And they're going to take it from you, and they're going to try to market it so that they can make money off of it and stay elite. Or alien and advanced beings reside there. If Hollow Earth is home to beings far older and more advanced than humans, like Agartha or the Masters from Admiral Byrd's alleged diaries, then Earth's true rulers might not be human at all. So it makes sense that they would hide it to prevent mass panic or spiritual rebellion, because contact with those beings could uplift humanity. And that's bad for those in control. Imagine if the average person realized that. Wait, there's a peaceful, enlightened being under us with free energy and zero war? Governments, corporations, and militaries would lose all leverage. So yeah, of course, it's 1,000,000% in their best interest to hide it from us. And I don't know about you, but if you were trying to hide something and you were in control, you would probably never break that treaty. It's dangerous, though. Really, it's Pandora's box. Let's say Hollow Earth is real, but it's not paradise. Maybe it's filled with hostile beings or unknown diseases, maybe even an unstable energy system or evidence of past civilizations that were wiped out for like a specific reason. To protect the surface from the threat we're not prepared for, like a real world strange things upside down or descent style nightmare zone, maybe they all collectively agreed to work together and say, hey, look, we really can't break this one. We all agree that this is bad. And so they do have stations out there, and they don't break the treaty. But think of this. If ancient civilizations still exist inside the Earth, or if humans came from inside, it would upend everything we've been told about evolution, history, and our place in the universe. Because every textbook, university, and religious doctrine would be proven wrong overnight. Not to mention, it could reveal deliberate suppression of truth going back centuries. Here's another theory, though. Maybe they've been using it secretly. What if secret military programs, breakaway civilizations, or elite groups have already been using Hollow Earth for decades? Hidden research bases, off-grid testing, and advanced tech, places to hide during catastrophes. I mean, of course they'd want to hide it from you. It's their monopoly on secrecy and security and survival. And that kind of place would literally be the ultimate bunker during the global collapse. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's the whole spiritual awakening and the loss of total control. If beings inside Hollow Earth lived in harmony, used free energy, and had advanced consciousness, then our current society, fueled by consumerism, fear, war, and division, it would look like a joke. I mean, think about it. Because knowledge of better way of life would lead to mass non-compliance, global uprising, and freedom from the system, diagnosed to keep people dependent. I mean, look at us now. We're basically slaves in society. You go to work every day and you barely make enough to survive. It's frustrating, makes you hate your job, it makes you less happy. And, I mean, if you keep people hungry, they come back for more every single time. And that's how their whole idea based off of capitalism works. But if there was a place that had harmony and freedom and just you could live a better lifestyle, wouldn't you want to choose it? I mean, me personally, I would love to. But that's how it's always been. Control of the human narrative equals control of the masses, right? So every civilization is built on stories. We come from the stars, God created us, we evolved from apes. But if it turned out humanity came from or shared Earth with a hidden advanced society inside the planet, it shatters the narrative. And when the story breaks, so does the control. Governments and religions rely on identity frameworks to keep people in line. Hollow Earth would tear them wide open. You are not the first civilization. You are not alone. And you are not at the top of the food chain, like we've been told for millennia. An even better one is that you'd have access to forbidden ancient technology. What if the civilizations inside the Earth possess a technology that heals instantly, generates unlimited energy, enables telepathy, levitation, and dimensional travel? What if these are like leftover pre-Atlantean or even non-human origins? This would literally bankrupt industries like healthcare and energy and transportation. It would render militaries obsolete. It would shift the power from governments to knowledge keepers. And they would hide it from you because once the tech leaks, people would no longer need the system we're enslaved to now. Another thing too is what if time works differently inside? Multiple accounts, like Olaf Jensen's and the Smoky God, suggested that the time flows differently inside the Earth. So slower, faster, or an entirely different scale. If beings inside live for centuries, they may outlast every empire we have ever built. Think about that one. That would make inner Earth civilizations literal time gods, watching us rise and fall like ants. And they'd hide it from you because whoever controls time or moves through it differently has unfair power over everyone else. Imagine aging slower, gathering knowledge from centuries while surface civilizations self-destruct every few decades. I mean, really think about that one. Or maybe it's secret military access points, right? There's a lot of strong speculation that Antarctica, the Himalayas, Mount Shasta, the Amazon, and certain deep ocean trenches contain secret access points to the underground transportation or research networks. DARPA, black budget programs, and breakaway civilizations may already be inside, testing things that the public will never see. And they'd hide it from you because you can't allow people to know that most powerful tech on Earth is coming from beneath them, not above. Because, I mean, really, we would run straight into global collapse. It would be complete chaos. Maybe it's contact with interdimensional or non-human intelligence. Many ancient traditions say non-human entities dwell inside the Earth. I mean, we've heard of like the reptilians, right? Like the serpent beings from Nagas, light beings and the Garthans and Lumerians, machine gods or ancient AI, ascended masters who live in underground cities like Telos. These entities may have cut deals with governments in secrecy, offering knowledge in exchange for secrecy or isolation from the surface chaos. I mean, think about it. Like, I, for one, have always kept my circle small. Like, I don't have a million friends. I have a lot of acquaintances, but not a lot of people I like to hang out with. And I just feel like it's less chaotic that way for me personally. So it's relevant to think that maybe these, communities underneath the surface would suggest the same thing. They would want less population. So they keep the majority of the population on the surface. Plus, the public isn't ready for non-human contact, honestly, and it would prove we're not in charge, and we never were. Proof of Atlantis or Lemuria or pre-human civilizations, if like ruins, cities, or entire cultures exist beneath the earth, it proves history has been rewritten. It confirms ancient texts were not metaphors, they were memory. Atlantis and Lemuria may not have sunk. They may have gone underground to survive some cataclysm. Why'd they hide it? Because ancient human ancestors may have achieved more than we have now. Meaning we are the ones living in the Dark Ages. We all know that knowledge is power. We've heard it for years growing up. If you knew about this, they don't hold power over you. Imagine the public finds out humanity had free energy, cosmic knowledge, and peace 20,000 years ago, and we lost it. I got kids. I don't want them to grow up in a crappy world. I would so much rather live in a place that's peaceful. Of course, it's all speculation, but what if they're us, but better? What if the inner Earth people are not aliens or monsters, but they're humans like us? Only more spiritually evolved, more peaceful, more intelligent, more in tune with Earth itself. If the public found out that there's a better version of humanity down below, there'd be global existential crisis. Maybe it's that the greatest secret isn't that others exist. It's that we're not living up to who we were actually meant to be. And maybe down below, they are. But another kicker is, here's a thought, right? What if it's not just inner Earth? What if it's just a gateway to other worlds? Some accounts claim that Hollow Earth isn't just a habitat. It's a dimensional nexus or a planet within a planet where portals to other realms open and close. Take Agartha, for example, right? Agartha is not just a city. It's a hub, a spiritual airport connecting to other planets, planes, or even timelines. Imagine if that were the case, right? They would want to keep it secret because if regular people discovered how to enter these gateways to escape war, poverty, or surveillance, it would lead to mass exodus, collapse of national identity, or cosmic migration chaos. Imagine millions abandoning the surface life to go somewhere better. No passport, no control, no taxes. I don't know about you, but I freaking hate taxes the most. Maybe Hollow Earth is humanity's subconscious, made real, right? Some fringe theorists say Hollow Earth is less of a psychological location or more of a hyperdimensional zone created by collective consciousness. Like a living library of memories or a dream world made solid, a spiritual operating system hidden beneath our material world. And they'd hide it because, well, reality is malleable, you know? Thought can shape geography, the public has unlocked creative power, and that kind of realization destroys every hierarchical system on Earth. If we can access the world within, we no longer need the world above. Or, you know, maybe it's like already at an established site for random things like, I don't know, for instance, they've cloned or engineered beings down there. Think biolabs, but ancient. Imagine a civilization inside Earth with tech too. Clone humans, create hybrid beings, alter DNA, resurrect extinct species. I mean, they definitely want to hide this because revealing that inner Earth contains biological secrets could make religion obsolete, genetic patents worthless, and pharmaceutical industries collapse. If your cure is growing underneath your feet, why buy it anyway, you know? I don't know, maybe Hollow Earth holds like real ancient artifacts or something. You know, some people believe that sacred artifacts like the Ark of the Covenant or the Holy Grail or Atlantean crystals or the tablets of the divine knowledge are all lost, right? They're, you know, protected inside the Hollow Earth. They wouldn't want you to know that because these objects don't belong to any nation, corporation, or church. They belong to humanity, and that terrifies the elite. The truth is down there, and it doesn't wear a uniform. They wouldn't like that, would they? Maybe it's just an experiment, and we're the test subjects. Some radical theorists say that the surface world is kind of an open air laboratory, and the inner world is where the observation lives. We are watched, measured, nudged. They wouldn't want us to know about that because the experiment only works if the subjects don't know they're in it. Hollow Earth is the viewing platform, where the mice is the maze, and they're not gods, they're society. Or maybe the truth is known, but forgotten. What if our ancestors knew about Hollow Earth? The Mayans didn't vanish, they returned inward. The Egyptians aligned temples with inner currents and not stars. Native peoples had guides who came from below, not above. They wouldn't want us to know about that because the world's most sacred stories, once preserved through oral tradition, of course, were stolen, mocked, and burned to keep secrets buried. The secret isn't new. It's ancient. We just forgot because someone made us forget. It's literally perfect population control. Keep people stupid so they obey. Keep them hungry so they come back for more. So think about it. I mean, if it is the end of civilization as we know it, let's be honest, right? If Hollow Earth was exposed, governments would collapse, religions would fracture, economies would crumble, paradigms would die. The ruling class thrives on stability through ignorance. Hollow Earth is an existential wrecking ball, and most people aren't ready. It's not about monsters in the dark, it's about freedom. They can't afford to give it to you. Because honestly, freedom is expensive to them, and they want to stay rich, wealthy, and elite. So, maybe the truth was never buried. It was just beneath our feet, waiting for the moment we stopped looking up and started digging deeper. I don't know for sure what the truth is, but I do know one thing for certain. My name's Georgie, and this is The Witch Show, where the brain never shuts up and the nonsense occasionally makes sense. So think for yourself, laugh at everything, and remember, the loudest voice in your head might just be you, making a damn good point. Until next time, guys.
Thanks for listening!
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Witch Show, from what I think seriously to you.
WITS, The Witch Show.
Cool story, bro.
Dude, bro, that part we were talking about, the freaking ancient technology.
Dude,
that
the
was
ancient
insane.
I got chills, bro.
I know, chills,
Chills,
right?
literally
oh my
chills
God,
the
what a
whole
great
time.
episode.
It was so great.
What a freaking great episode.
Freaking awesome.